fit the hole perfectly. It was the key. Alright, it's puzzle time. Now, fair warning, guys, you're gonna see me do this in one attempt. Well, two, because that button's stuck when I came in. But you'll see me essentially get it my first try, and I want you to know that even on my first playthrough, it only took me 2 attempts, and it was not very long at all. So you'll see me do it a little bit faster, but it's not going to be non-representative of when I came through here the first time. Okay, so we have the dagger in here. It turned. Now we've got to match symbols. Okay, so we've got the dagger in the middle, now let's turn it. Okay, here we go. So we've got the Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let me get my pen and paper out. Alright, so we have... Get back out, pen. You have a destiny to fulfill. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's look at which symbol is next to our Roman numeral. So at the 1 we have a triangle that has a T jutting out on the right side. Then we have a circle with a hash through it for 2, a crescent moon for 3, a circle with a cross on it for 4, and then we have a base triangle for 5. Now I'm going to say we're going to have to put those in numerical order, and I think that's right if I'm remembering correctly. But to do that, I have to hit random 5, so this will reset. Okay, there we go. So first things first is I need to find that triangle with a T coming out of it. That is an L. That is the base triangle. God damn it, I didn't want to do that. That looks like our one with a T, because I didn't see anyone else with a T coming out of it, so we'll hit this guy down. Then we need the circle with a hash. Now my crescent moon. circle with a cross over top of it. And I need a flat triangle. Ha-ha! That's survival horror puzzle solving 101. Right there, boy. Okay, stairs.
New scents started filling the air again. Sea spray, moist soil, plants. Soon after, I could hear rain and thunder. She had guided me on the way out. She had saved my life. But as all prisoners know so well, you're not free just because you can see the sky. This was just another setting for the same tragedy.
End of chapter 5. Huzzah! And we're coming up William's grave. Oh, we're out the mansion, so this has to be the end. Chapter 6, Dawn will not come. I find it interesting that the moonlight's flickering like it's a lamplight. That makes me wonder how much of like what we've gone through is really real.
She was inviting me to follow her. Come see, she was telling me. It was her best part. A victim who plays her role to cheat death. But she wasn't deceiving anyone. And me, even less.
Okay, interesting choice of words there, man. So yeah, because we're outside the house, this has to be the end game. And, I think I now know what we need that axe for. And there's her shoe.
As a conscientious thief, Selena walked to her grand finale. My fear was washed away by disgust. I was about to meet William.
Are you sure? Because it's starting to really seem like you and William. Like, when was you on the phone? This whole thing of how we're coming back to your car at the end. The fact that you don't remember anything, it's seeming all too fishy to be true. That's just so things I had to do about them. Okay. Let's open this up and try to find William, even though I'm pretty sure we're William.
had killed the only beautiful thing in the world. The only one which could save me. I'm sorry. It was me all along, Selena. The son of a bitch. The sicko. The killer. The wolf. The filth. The bastard. The scum. Oh, you should have let your mother kill you. You should have undone what she did. You knew, and yet you let me have a second chance, Selena. Let me go on till the end. The memories of what I had done were coming back slowly, like the tide washing ashore the rotten corpses from a wreck. Selena was lighter than a pillow. The real weight was all those years of filth stored in my memory. Images. The blade I sunk deep into the stomach of my own mother. Those dark-haired women. Those hated clones of Margaret, split from head to toe as a sacrifice to the moon. Their organs displayed carefully, like some child fresco. Selena on the stage of Smoke and Mirrors. The glass I used to toast with her. The first time we talked. Her tears. The letters in which she told me about losing her kid. How her husband had been murdered. And our kiss. The blade I used to stab her. My father and the father of my mother died from the same madness. The same poison that men injected into the economic system they had created. On October 29th, 1929, millions of casualties. The scent of blood. And for the wolves, the beginning of the hunt.
Second letter. I have just finished reading your letter, Selena. Never had anyone open their heart to me so fully. I remember you asked yourself how was it possible that your voice would match my piano so perfectly. You and me are lost souls, my dove, but you are full of light, whereas I have been crawling down the abyss for far too long. I have told you some things, but not all of them. I didn't tell you about the blood on my hands. If you knew, one can't do anything against the sphere. You don't come back from this darkness. It drives you crazy. Sometimes I forget this simple fact. I'm a madman. Your love reminds me of the monster I have always been. Your warmth, your perfume, that's the closest I'll ever be to heaven. You are an incarnation of the moon, Luna, but neither of you was able to save me. That was not meant to be. This country needs wolves as much as it needs game. You will receive this letter. Tonight you will expect me to love you, and I will kill you, because I am a shadow, and I can't stand anything but darkness and night. William Vesper. So yep, theories were right. We were indeed William. And it was Selena's spirit guiding us out of that house trying to save us while there was still time. And it seems like we aren't really going to do the right thing here at the end. Because, you know, the proper thing would be to take her to the hospital while there's still a chance, but considering that we can hear her breath in the background, and we're walking towards what seems to be a graveyard, I feel like we're walking her to the end in our end. I wonder if we come to the end of William's monologue here. This is honestly heartbreaking of an ending, thinking about it and coming back around to it.
Selena's warmth was pulsing slowly in my arms as the dark spot of my culpability was growing over her stomach. In the sky, the moon was watching me, her son, as I was taking my first steps, holding her daughter in my arms. A resurrection. A second chance. Selena was dying. I could tell from her body, tightly pressed against me. At times, her eyes would open and stare at me. Not a hint of anger or accusation. She could have let go. Let her light pass. Let my mother take me back. But she was protecting me. She was forgiving me. The moon was silently watching us as we made our last push through the night. Soon, dawn would come. The sun would wash away all that ink which had condemned us. Goodbye, Luna. Goodbye, Mother. This night had been too long already.
This is not the ending that Selena nor William deserves. It should honestly be the reverse.
I went as far as I could. Selena, the one who would give me everything life had left her, was fading away, despite my efforts to hold on to her light. If night was the world, then this world had no end. This was my America. Stranded here, facing the void under the cold glare of the silent moon. She was dying. She was dying for all eternity, and I kept awake to see her take her leave.
And in memory of my brother Vincent Kafif, to my father Domenico. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. That was a touching tribute to them both. Okay, I'm gonna let these I'm gonna let these credits go, and then I'm gonna give my final thoughts on the game. almost finished. What'd I think of it? Well, before I get to all of my complex and nuanced thoughts on White Knight overall, let me just go ahead and apologize to you guys for the couple damaged episodes we had in this LP, and the LP not remaining blind. Now, the damaged parts and not remaining blind is simply because the game only has one save slot and no chapter select, so I literally had to start this game 3 times and beat it twice just to finish this LP in decent quality for you guys. Now, I could have tried to work with that broken footage, but it would not have been fair to you guys, and the footage would not have met a standard of quality I would have been okay with. So, I apologize, but everything from part 1 to part 17 was completely blind, and only 2 episodes ended up damaged because of that. That I can live with. Now, White Knight overall. Overall, I thought White Knight was a pretty decent survival horror game that I had a good bit of fun with. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to put White Knight above Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Dead Space, The Evil Within 2, or The Alien Isolation. Simply because the game is not as good as those and doesn't have as much content as those. But that being said, White Knight's different than all of those, and it's a lot cheaper than those. I believe the game when it came out was only $15, $20, and nowadays it goes on sale pretty often. So it does equal out in that regard. But it does have some serious cons that hold it back from being an amazing survival horror game. Let me go ahead and say what my pros are with this game. The 4 biggest things White Knight has going for it is the story, the atmosphere, the time period, and the art style. Those 4 things sell this game better than anything else can, and it's what propels the game to the quality that it is here. Now, with all of that said, the strongest of all those pillars is the art style and the story, because that's what the game relies on more than anything, and I feel like it did pretty good with those. Better with the art style than it did the story. Now overall, I really enjoyed the story. Its setup was perfect. I love the mystery and the intrigue and investigating the mansion and the ghosts and everything. The problem is, the plot twist of Dude Man protagonist guy being William was way too easy a spot well before you get to the end of the game. People who were watching this LP that were friends of mine predicted that before we got to the end, and I predicted it before I got to the end as well, simply because they foreshadowed it so heavy and gave you so many clues. Now let me go ahead and say, I'm glad the game did not change that twist just to be smarter or more complex or trying to surprise you, but they should have not have foreshadowed it as much as they did. Beyond that, the game also really doesn't have any replayability like other survival horror games I've played. I have no will to go and play this another like 5-6 times like I do with a lot of the other survival horror games that I play, but not every game needs that replayability, and I feel like for $15, $20, White Knight did pretty good. Now, its real cons come from A, only having one save slot, no chapter select. The art style sometimes gets in the way of playability because the game will be so dark you cannot see what you are doing and you will die. Matter of fact, where I died more than anywhere else was the dream sequences where you have no real light source that you can control, because if you don't keep up, you're just kind of lost in the dark, then the game will kill you before you can figure out where you are. I feel like they could have done a little bit of work to fix that, but I'm glad they stuck gung-ho to the art style because of it. It just made a couple playability issues. And then, the other real con this game has is that it's way too bare bones of a survival horror game. The only real thing you manage is matches, then everything else is kind of given to you, and matches are so plentiful to where they're really never an issue to have a stockpile of. So if there were more things to manage and it was a bit better balanced out and it was a little bit more meaty of a survival horror game, I probably would have loved it more. With all that being said, White Knight is a pretty decent enough game, and I have no problem recommending it to someone who just wants to play a different survival horror game, and for me, it's a success. If I were to review it, I'd probably give this game like a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. That's where it feels like it deserves to sit, because it's not amazing, it's not the best survival horror game that I played, but it was definitely pretty solid, and I enjoyed it through and through. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this LP, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.